Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 95 of the OG Technically Trek. I am your humble host, Dave Prime. Over there on my right is the witchy Captain Katie. How are you doing, my dear?
I'm fabulous, darling. How are you?
Overwhelmed as usual.
Yeah, well, for very different reasons, I can understand that right now, but I'm still smiling. I am alive and I am here, and I'm very excited about today.
Yeah, me too. We got some new Trek to talk about for the next 2 months. It's thinking, honestly, I'm still a little bit on the fence on this show, but we'll talk about that later. But But yeah, I was saying it's great
Yes.
to have some. It's new, it's different. As you can see, we're doing some things differently on the show here. Say we got bigger boxes for people that want to talk. I created a new starting soon card at the beginning. What did you think of it?
I like it because I mean, I miss the countdown. I really do. But one of these days the BBC is going to hunt us down. So I
Yeah,
do get that. I never really thought about that, but it was very, it was very nostalgic for me, that countdown. And I am sorry to see it go, but all our socials are on there.
exactly.
The new
There,
Spotify advertisement is on there, and it advertises who we are. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, the Spotify is a work in progress. I'm gonna eventually we're gonna have all the recent episodes on there, but right now I've been kind of cherry picking some of the old episodes to put on there. And I'm noticing, I don't know if I'm just doing it wrong, but I'll do episode 67, then I'll do 82, and then 43 or whatever. It puts it in the order that I upload it rather than try to put it in chronological order or in alphabetical order,
Yeah.
as you could say.
I mean, if you do it in the order that you put it in, does that mean that you have to input it backwards or forwards? I don't know.
Well, that's what I need to try and figure out. So, I mean, there are episodes on there, so people want to check out some of the old episodes. You can upload them, listen to them, and just kind of, if you're feeling nostalgic on a certain episode, because some of these episodes have had three,
Could
four
have a
hundred
look now.
views. I think like the Janeway kind of plateaued just under 400. I forget there was another one that got well over 400. Uh, and there was a
There
couple
we
that
are.
are what?
There we are.
Yes, we are.
Yes. Follow us, people. Spotify, we're there. Listen to the crazy British
Tech,
woman.
yeah, technically it's on Spotify, Dave Prime 1701 on YouTube, Instagram, Threads, technically Trek on X as well as Techno Dave, my Prime account, as I like to call it, because that's how I got started. That's how I have all my viewers and whatnot, including some stars like David Hasselhoff and Caswell, just to name a couple. Which I still can't believe they follow me, but they do anyway. So yay!
I don't mean to
But
be really awful, but if David Hasselhoff ever started following me, I'd try and figure out a way to have him unfollow me. I'm so
but
sorry. I really am. I don't see the appeal. I don't. I mean, maybe it's a
well,
gay man thing. I don't know, but I don't see the appeal.
I grew up when Knight Rider first aired, so that was my introduction to Hasselhoff.
See,
So
I love Knight Rider, but I was always more for Kit.
oh, same, but
I was like best buddies with Kit. I didn't care about him. But no,
but
I'm very excited that Starfleet Academy is finally here.
yes,
And I actually watched it in advance. I meant to watch it tonight, but I got hung up on a phone call, and then I kind of like lost myself in my writing, and all of a sudden it was like 1:25 a.m. and I'm like, oops, I haven't even made a coffee.
yeah. Seen, I got to watch it a couple of days ago myself. I watched episode one, that the Thursday that it aired, and then I caught episode two. I want to say on Sunday, maybe Monday. But with my chaotic schedule, I was going to rewatch it again and take copious notes this afternoon, but I had a resident had to do an intake, so that kind of took up a lot of time, and then I had to do a couple other things. As I always like to say, if I was
Yeah.
living on the planet Bajor, I'd still not have enough hours in the day to get all the shit I need to get done.
Do you know what? For very different reasons, I understand. I mean, especially the last few days, they've been a bit of a whirlwind for me, and not in a bad way. But I'm just like, where's all the time going? Like all of a sudden, like 1 minute it's morning, and the next minute 11 p.m. and I'm just like, huh, where did that go? But yeah, I think it's a bit like that for everyone recently. I think everybody's like feeling it. I think it's kind of like, I think to some degree everybody feels it this time of year. It's kind of like an adjustment, and I don't know. I just think that everyone has to adjust to a new year, and it affects people in different ways. And while some people are like, well, it's just another day, you know, even if it's a new year, you know, we're in a different location, you know, we're back to where we started, you know, revolving around the sun and all that jazz. And there's all sorts of elements involved, and you know, it's just, yeah. I mean, there was a very interesting thing that my mother told me. The moon and the sun were at their closest point to Earth at the same time. Was it around January 3rd? And the last time that happened was 1912. And can anybody guess the date?
Titanic.
Yeah. And that's the last time the sun and the moon were positioned in that way at the same time. So there's a lot of things cosmically going on right now. But speaking of going on cosmically, shall we get started, darling?
Yeah, I was about to say, enough of that sort of technically Trek. I'd say one thing that does make our show unique to other Trek podcasts is saying, because I mean, I've listened to a lot of great ones. I'm not knocking them. I think I've been a guest host on one of them about a year ago. But we do strongly encourage live participation with our listeners and viewers by coming on camera or just audio if you're feeling camera shy. So say that way you can type over on the YouTube description, but we don't know your vocal inflections. I mean, it could be completely read incorrectly, and say if we don't have the feeling, the meaning of what you're trying to say. So click on the link below to the StreamYard, and that'll get you a backstage link. And then right now it looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 5 open slots available for people to jump in should they want to. But as you can see on the scroll below, that I do have to give a shout out to my streaming partner, Dubby, partner. Say they got a lot of great products for you to try out. They're based out of San Diego, Tyson's backyard. Their mission statement is to empower small and upcoming streamers such as ours, working alongside us to help us grow and flourish. They got a lot of great products. You don't get the crash that a lot of energy drinks give you. And I just got word that my favorite one that I've been touting, the s'mores that you mix with milk, they're going to vault it. That's their exact word. They're going to throw it in the vault. May or may not ever see it again. So I mean, if you want to try some of that s'mores, get nostalgic, you go to w.gg and use the code TEKTREK, TEKTREK. You get 10% off that purchase, as well as a lot of other products, as long as it's not licensed, like Chainsaw Man, Solo Leveling. Say they can't give you a deal on those, but pretty much everything else, fair game. So yeah, we got some new Trek to talk about tonight. Saying we're still in the 32nd century, and 100 years after, 120 years after the burn, we get to see the campus of Starfleet Academy reopen, and we got someone new popping in backstage. So woohoo! So let me bring everybody on here. Well, including Lou. Hello, sir. And we got Zach, we got Travis, and I think we got Leftwich as well. So I think I gotta get the right thing. Haven't had this many participants before. So welcome, guys. How's it all going?
It's going great. I just randomly clicked the button and I was like, let's see if it works. So here I am.
So
good job.
Yeah, so Starfleet Academy is saying that's
You're muted, Zach.
Zach is muted.
I said, "What up, though? What up?" So welcome, Lou. We are a radical bunch. You'll enjoy it.
Does anyone
No,
remember
I'm not.
the 90s PC game Starfleet Academy?
Yes.
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 It
Yes.
came on
Yes.
like 8 discs. They had to
Oh,
like
Yes.
install, like I
Yes.
played the heck out of that game, and it had like all the main actors in it. It was a great game. I have no idea if it was popular or not, but when I saw Starfleet Academy, I was like, well, I hope it's like better than the game, which I thought was great. But then you grow up and you're like, it wasn't that good.
Well,
Yeah, I hated
a city
Star
drill.
Trek when that game was out.
well, talking about games though, back in the 90s, what about the Star Trek: The Next Generation, a VHS interactive game? Did any of you ever play that?
Ooh, that's a deep cut.
The only
Well,
Trek I knew back then was TOS, and I was in extreme hate with that.
But the premise of it was a Klingon who was played by none other than Robert O'Reilly hijacked the Enterprise to start a war with the Federation and the Klingon Empire, and the lower deckers, the players that were playing the game, they were the lower deckers that had to try and stop him from completing his mission. And I don't know if he's watching this or not, but Jeremy, I love you. I miss you, man. He was the lowest ranking officer by however means that was chosen. It's like the Klingons say, who's the lowest ranking officer? Your name is now Pooge, which is Klingon for win. So I get that sense that I always nicknamed him Pooge.
I love that.
Yeah, but yeah, the start of the episode, wasn't expecting it to be a flashback, so it was interesting, but it was definitely a character building moment for Caleb, saying so we get to know who he is, where he's coming from. We get to learn more about Ake as well, which I think she plays a great captain. As a half human, half Lethanite. So I was like, oh, interesting. So I wonder what her life expectancy will be, being just half a Lethanite. Did I say that right?
Maybe it wouldn't make a difference. Maybe she just ages slightly quicker, but maybe in the grand scheme of things, it wouldn't really make a difference. I mean, you never know with hybrids. But no, I mean, I absolutely loved the opening to the pilot episode of Starfleet Academy, and I adore Caleb. I think he is such a great character, and they've already built such a lot on him. And I can see really good things for him. Turbulent things, but I see really good things for him. And I love his arc already. There's a lot of depth to his character, and I really do love it. Although I do want to, I can't remember anybody's name apart from Caleb.
Well,
and the Doctor.
This guy has a good name. In 800 years, he still has not picked a freaking name for himself. What the heck?
I expected it. I expected it. Maybe it'll take him another 800 years, and he still won't pick a name. But he's the Doctor. Everybody knows the Doctor. Like Doctor Who. Everybody knows it. Who he is, the Doctor. But no, I don't know anybody's names. But I want to know the story of the Klingon. I absolutely adore the Klingon Jem'Hadar
hybrid.
Yeah,
what a thought. And say,
yeah, I
don't know
adore
why.
her.
I'm going to try something here. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to just do that. And there's that. There we go. There's Chris.
Yay! Welcome.
What
to
up?
the house.
What is it?
How is everyone?
Pretty
Can
good.
anyone?
Alive.
Pretty.
Is it okay? Okay, wait a minute. Okay, making sure.
We can hear you now.
All right, cool. Yeah, let's talk about this this thing that's supposed to be Star Trek.
Yeah,
What is Star Trek?
it's what is Star Trek? That was an episode for Strange New Worlds. What is Starfleet? What is Star Trek?
Yeah, I watched.
That's where they have the laser pointed sword looking things, right?
Don't even go there, Zach. No, get bugger off.
Little, we gotta have some humor, all right. We gotta throw in some Star Wars humor.
Oh, of course.
No, be removed. I love you, but no.
I'll remove
No, I
myself
draw the
for
line.
Phil.
No, I draw the line at Star Wars. I can somewhat handle TLS, but not that crap.
You don't like Star Wars? I can see why you don't like the sequel trilogy.
No, the
I
sequel
don't-
sucked.
You know, this is
The only
technically
thing about-
Trek, everyone.
The only like 3 things that I like about Star Wars is Grogu, Yoda, and Jar Jar.
Ooh,
I respect that.
that's
I
right.
respect that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, Jar
what
Jar is. I see where the annoyance comes from, but you know what? I kind of like Jar Jar.
Yeah, I did
He's
too.
like my alien counterpart. He is like my alien counterpart. He's ditzy as hell. He's weird. He constantly gets his words fuddled up. You know, he's
So-
like me in alien form.
So Data, he's basically Data, kind of ditzy, but yet adorable.
Yeah, but Data was
Um,
competent.
That is true. Data was
Yeah.
confident, though.
Yeah.
Jar Jar is not, and neither am I. You know, I mean, I forget Patrick Stewart's name for Christ's sake. You know, so this is why I always compare myself to Jar Jar because you know I adore that. I adore that weird looking alien, and you know, I mean, he has my heart as much as Data does.
Yeah. When I watched the first episode of this Starfleet Academy thing, and I swear, for the first half of it, I was like, "Am I watching Star Wars or Star Trek?" Because of all the little floaty robots, it looked just like Star Wars. I'm like, "What the hell? You can't mix these two."
Well,
You know, I love them both, but you know,
well,
I
they
concur.
had the dots in Strange New Worlds, not as
And the
prevalent.
exocomps.
Well, yeah, we got exocomps.
is that the
Let's
little
see.
floaty robots?
Yeah, well the little
the-
compact, the big
Yeah, the
fat
little
one.
peanut hamper compact one.
Yeah, but this one was almond butter.
Yeah, and you know, I like that. You know, almond.
Which almond butter was voiced by the same actor as Peanut Hamper. The same voice actor, which I thought was
Dylan
kinda
has
cool.
Yeah.
Dylan down there has a great question, everybody.
Oh, let me put it up. Let me put it up.
Amen, brother.
Oh God.
I
And
love
my
you,
my,
Dylan.
and mine's my favorite Star Trek character is Chewbacca.
Just a question, seeing as you like Star Wars, who is the White Wookiee?
I have no clue, honestly.
That's a whole different franchise.
No idea.
Yeah. I didn't even
I
know
know-
there was a white. I didn't even know there was a white Wookiee, but it makes sense if it was on an
I've
ice
hugged
planet.
him. I've hugged a White Wookiee, and he gave great hugs. But
Are
you
you-
know,
are- Wait a minute. Are you talking about that thing on Hoth?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
cut
even know
his
if it's a
belly
Wookiee.
open.
looks like a
yeah.
Wookiee.
No, I think it was there a white
Tauntaun.
Wookiee then?
No, it wasn't a Tauntaun.
No,
It
the
was
Tauntaun. The
Tauntaun.
Tauntaun was.
They
Well,
never
didn't I
named it in the
remember?
movie. It was just like the abominable snowman,
I-
basically.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically what it is.
Yeah, he's adorable.
I had the toy where the arm came off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like when it comes to the white Wookiee being on like an ice planet, it's kind of my argument with Black Vulcans, because we didn't see a Black Vulcan until Voyager, and people are just up in freaking arms about it, say there's no Black Vulcans. It's like, have you not watched the
And
show? Have you not
Have
seen
you never?
that
Have you not
Vulcan?
been to their planet?
Well, yeah, Vulcan's a
You-
freaking desert planet. There's going to be people from that planet that couldn't protect themselves as well. I mean, here on Earth,
Do,
it's you say Africa. Enough
do
said.
you know what my answer to that question is? As to like, why is all of a sudden there a Black Vulcan? I'm just like, who gives a crap? He's a Vulcan. He's going to be an asshole. Simple as that. Yeah.
Like, he's
DEI.
a Vulcan. He's going to be cool.
Yeah.
No,
It was
all
just a
Vulcans
D.
are
It was just a
assholes. Even
DEI
Spock.
initiative.
No,
Star
even
Trek was a
Spock can be an
was a
asshole.
well, that is true actually. But even Star Trek was ahead of its time in media with
Star
DEI.
Trek was doing
So-
DEI before it was cool. I
Yeah,
mean, they're
exactly.
the one IP that I don't fault for being super progressive, because I'm like, that's just that they're not on a bandwagon. That's been part of their DNA from the
Ex-
very beginning, you know.
Amen. Yeah.
I have a can I pitch a Star Trek idea to y'all and tell me like what you think of it?
Sure.
So I think Chris said when he came on, he said, I couldn't really tell if it was Star Wars or Star Trek. And I think that's like one of the problem is that Star Trek has never been like the Star Wars. When you watch Star Wars, you expect to see at the very least something that is super cool on screen. Like that's part of the DNA is like hundreds of spaceships and just like total chaos. And I think Star Trek is trying to do that too much. And I think even in the TOS series, even at the time, I don't think anyone, I could be wrong, but I don't think anyone really thought it was like cutting edge special effects. It was just like it was passable, like it sold the illusion. So I think if they ever reboot the Star Trek franchise, they should go super the opposite way and go low tech, and they should just make it like basically a mid 90s or 80s series, and they should keep like just the lo-fi, like the Enterprise was kind of like the Marriott in TNG. It wasn't super flashy, but it was comfortable. It looked like a mid-level hotel, and they should keep the cheap sets and like just try to be like it's Star Trek, but it's like intentionally kind of that low quality effect that I think is really charming, and people would love that, especially all the 90s kids that are now in their 40s. Like I think that'd be super comforting. We'd like that.
Absolutely. Same.
Absolutely.
But
Good idea.
bigger budget, more flair in more ways than one. I'm saying they can't get away from the J.J. Abrams flares. It's just they can't get rid of that.
You know, this is, you know, I mean, getting circling back around to the topic at hand, this particular, you know, Star Trek series and stuff. I've seen, of course, I'm 47 years old. I watched, you know, from the TOS era to the you know, in the 80s and stuff and everything else. And you pointed out something too, Lou, about, you know, network Star Trek that we came up with, people like myself came up with. We are used to that type of Star Trek. And we are used to seeing, like, you know, like you said, the Enterprise was Gene Roddenberry Vision 2 was the Enterprise was basically a giant luxury liner in space, in a sense, because, you know, you look at it, you'd be like, wow, like the bridge itself did not look something, it looked lounge. It was like a lounge type of bridge. It didn't look like a bridge you would normally would see in, like, you would think that a star in Star Trek, a Starfleet vessel will be, but it's very sleek and laid back and everything. Then we get into Deep Space Nine in the 90s, in the early 90s and stuff. We start seeing some different ways of them, you know, going with, you know, their production budgets and stuff, how they, you know, want to design, you know, these so-called futuristic ships and stuff and everything else. When it comes to the whole Star Trek, and then now we see within the last, I'm not in the last 10 years, it started with J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, but like when the streaming started becoming this huge thing and stuff, we started seeing TV shows and stuff, and then Paramount started to, you know, say, well, you know what, we want to start creating some Star Trek stuff and everything. And for me, as somebody who is, I hate to say, I say this quite a bit and everything else and stuff. I am a one for nostalgic. I'm one for one of these people who is a traditionalist and stuff and everything else. Some of the new Star Trek in like this Starfleet Academy, it's kind of leaving a bitter taste in my mouth as a Star Trek fan. And it's kind of making me dislike Star Trek in the sense because, I'm I'm a traditionalist, but yet, it's not so much of seeing all of this and this tech and stuff and everything else, like you pointed out. I just become such a. I look in. I'm not trying. I'm reserving all my nitpicking because I have a lot of nitpicking about this type, just these first two episodes, and just the last few Star Trek, because the only really pleasant Star Trek show to me that was Picard. Star Trek Picard season 1 was okay, season 2 was but season 3 was really, it really, was something that just, you're like, oh, it brought it just back to, like, that's the Star Trek that I've been looking for, in so long and stuff, since the Rick Berman era of Star Trek and everything. But all this stuff, because I know it's appealing to younger people, it's appealing to a new generation of younger people and stuff like that. But I feel like, where they're appealing to the young people, they're forgetting about us older people, and we being left out.
Yeah,
That's
one.
I disagree.
I agree. I agree with Travis.
No, I disagree, and the reason why I disagree is right. I am worried that I'm about to start questioning our friendship again, my sweet. But I think, and now you know how much I love you, all of you, even new people that are coming in, but I think that it's not Trek that's the problem. I think it's the viewers who are the problem. Now, me, myself, and I, and now I've had this conversation with many people, and it's kind of very similar. So just like go with me on this. Do you know how there's always a thing of books being made into TV series and books being made into movies, and and I'm a big believer in the book is always better. I really am. However, I'm able to separate them. I am able to separate that movie or TV series from the original literature and see it as its own entity. Not that it's based on something. I see it as its own entity, and as long as it keeps the fundamental values of the original work, I'm happy. See, this is why I won't watch The Witcher, because something has been lost in that. However, with Trek, if you go, and I can't even believe I'm saying this, if you go right from TOS,
Bill is great.
I love you, but piss off. The fundamental values that are in TOS, dreams of the future, people who were thought to never come together have come together on the bridge of a starship. Boundaries just completely demolished. Risks being taken within the story, seeking out new life, learning more, trying to promote peace while still building a larger community. Then you go on to Next Generation. That holds the same core values. Yes, it's very different to TOS. It's going with the times, so to speak, but those core values are still there. We actually learn more about Starfleet, the Prime Directive, the values that people hold. Moving on to DS9, again, that's very different. It's on a space station. And within DS9, we see what the human race is capable of in times of hardship. and the risks that humanity is willing to take, the lengths humanity would go to protect them and theirs, that they never thought that they would do. Then you go to Voyager. People who are at war with each other come together when they never thought they could even be in the same room with each other without phasers being fired. They showed that even enemies in times of strain, in times of hardship, can come together. All of these different series hold the same core values. The same with Lower Decks, even though that's more of a comedy. The same with the Kelvin timeline. Regardless of what people think about that, those core values are still there. They are still upheld. I still, back Katie. I still see the same in Starfleet Academy. I saw the same in Discovery. I see the same in Starfleet Academy. Those core values are still being upheld and promoted. And if anything, they're being promoted in a much bigger way and more in your face in Starfleet Academy than in any other, because this is a show all about newbies, that they're not even officers yet. They are in training. So there is more of these core values, these rules, the prime directive, everything thrown in their faces as well as the viewers. The only thing that's different is that it's a new generation. There's different technology. There's some new races. There's different mixed races, and that's okay, because that is what Star Trek is all about: seeking out new life, learning, evolving, and that is what Star Trek is. It's in a constant state of evolution while still upholding its core values. Starfleet Academy, in my opinion, even in 2 episodes, is still doing that, if not more so than any other. And I give you the floor.
Oh, thanks, Katie. That's a lot to digest in such a short amount of time. But
I will totally grant, I think you're correct in that every Star Trek is different. And, even people that love TNG, they fundamentally have disagreements with people that love Deep Space Nine versus people that love, the campy dimension of TOS. So you're right in that, even the Star Treks we love are not consistent amongst themselves. So I think there's definitely something there. And I do agree in Starfleet Academy. I think there is a spirit of it that's there, which is a spirit of adventure and cooperation. I think, in the more recent Star Treks, Star Trek to me was always a series that celebrated intelligence and problem solving and diplomacy and essentially finding nonviolent ways to resolve things.
Absolutely.
And, a lot of times in the last couple years, it's really come down to let's blow the ship up. Like in the most recent series, it's just let's just shoot him though. And I'm just like, is that what Picard or even like Janeway would have done? Like Janeway was like pretty aggressive, but she usually gave some lip service, like, hey, let's open a channel at least and see if we could talk this thing out before we blow them up. And I think we need less action heroes and maybe more like diplomats to be celebrated in our culture at this time. So I'd like to see a more cerebral set of characters and heroes that really, and I'll stop talking after this, but, in TNG, which was the one I grew up with, there was entire scenes where they would just sit around and talk about things and be like, what's the morally right thing to do here? And then Worf would be like, oh, we should be more aggressive. And Troy would be like, no, we should be on the other side of the spectrum. And like, I do miss that of like, hey, let's really talk about what the real issue is here. And the new series, it feels like it's just action. Anyways.
You're right.
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead, Dave.
No, that's a good point, Lou. But it looks like they're going to blow up the ship on the very first episode. And say when News Bronca shows up throwing that holy whatever at the ship where it's just binding to the ship and it's causing everything to shut down. And we really get to learn more about Brock, even though we saw him at the opening bit of the episode where he was under arrest and all that. But 15 years have passed, and he's like, dude still has a total like vendetta going on. And you mentioned on one of the backstage channels, Lou, that you're thinking it's more dystopian than utopian, which is correct because they're even 120 years later, they're still dealing with the burn. And sorry, I'm trying to stifle a cough here, but during Discovery season 3, even Earth had retreated from the Federation, all that, and put the barrier around the planet and things like that. But to learn that Beta Z did the same thing, which we'll learn more in episode 2. But they're still rebuilding the Federation. They're still rebuilding Starfleet because it's to put it mildly, it's a hot mess. And
Well, yeah, they're building from nothing because everything was gone, and they're doing so well.
Yeah, and sorry, there's some of the people online are calling this new show Star Trek 90210 because it is kind of like
I got more better than that. I got more better.
Well, it's the young adult audience because I mean 90210 Beverly yeah, that was a teeny bopper kind of show because they're trying to bring in new viewers like they did with Prodigy, bringing in the younger viewers. But even though, especially season 2 of Prodigy, it was designed for kids, adults could get it. Adults could understand it because the nostalgia was real. The nostalgia was heavy in a lot of that. What's up, Katie?
Now, okay, I agree with you on that. I mean, I couldn't personally get into Prodigy, as you know. But, however, even though the cast is mainly young adults, and so therefore it's assumed, I don't know if it's been like an official statement or not, but it's been assumed that it's directed towards young
You stole my thunder.
Yeah. But if you look, you take away where the ages of the characters. Yes, it was explained. Discovery season 3. But if you take out all the characters' ages, yeah, they're all the same age, regardless of what age that is. You go back through every single Star Trek series, and the same kind of drama happens, but because it's happening with adults who are more seasoned, it's not teenage drama, even though it still is. They're just, it's teenage drama with 20 years added on. And, it baffles me that, there's all the drama that happened between characters in TNG, especially Voyager, and DS9, all that drama that happened, it was exciting, it was funny because it was fully grown adults that it was happening to. But now that there's this similar drama going on with young adults who are only just turning into an adult, it's like, oh no, it's like 90210, it's all teen drama, and it's like, hold on, this shit's been going on in Star Trek since the beginning, and now only because it's young people are having a problem with it. And I'm just like, I actually think that, yeah, fair enough, there is hormones raging. There's always hormones raging, unless you're being neutered like myself. But people are only having an issue with it because of the ages of the main cast. And I think that this show, regardless of age, I actually think I don't think that it is just like directed towards younger viewers, because as well, if you think about it, they're at a stage in their lives that we've been through. So if anything, we should, yes, exactly, ageism. Yes.
Boomers.
But if anything, we should be able to connect to these characters even more because we've been there and done that. Obviously not in the future with, you know, starships flying around, but you get my meaning. We've been there and done that. We've lived through those times. And we came out on the other side, and now we're able to watch their journey. And, you know, they have hardships through their learning. They're so stressed because of an exam they've got or a task or, you know, anything like that. We should be able to empathize with them and be like, oh no, come on, lad, you've got it. You know, just push a little bit more and you've got it. That's the reactions that we should be having, not, oh God, just a load of teen drama. Honestly,
Well,
it really pisses me off. I'm sorry, but it does. And I love you guys, and I love all our viewers, and Lou, even you, even though you've only joined us, you know, I love all you guys. But it's like Dylan said, ageism. You know, things like that really get to me, and I put all that aside. And I watch it for what it is. And I'm just like, this is so freaking deep. There is so much depth in just the first 2 episodes. It is unbelievable. But I don't think anybody's seeing that because it's just young teenage drama.
Oh,
Exactly.
Katie.
Yes, because my camera knows.
Okay, so we got Bat Katie. How many more times do you think we're going to see Bat Katie tonight? Anyone want to take a guess? I'm guessing at least 3 times.
No, don't, because every time Zach says a number, it happens that much, so he's not allowed. No,
then you just open it up for him to throw in some insane number.
Yeah, I'm not listening. I will do the childish thing and plug my ears and go la la la.
Well, you might want to la 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 what I'm about to say next, but say the teen drama. Wait till episode 3.
Now, I accidentally caught a little clip of that, and I didn't stay around to watch it. I scrolled past, but I thought that was piss funny. And I can imagine what goes on, and the little bit that I saw, I did laugh. But if anybody has a problem with that, I have a feeling that I'm going to be even more pissed off than I am right now.
No, but early in the
Chris,
episode,
don't look at me with that tone of voice.
We'll start talking about some of the like so-called Easter eggs and stuff and everything else because I can't say
I got a list, but before we talk about that, I want to talk about the Wesley Crusher moment with Mir when he was the one that was able to solve the problem to get that goop off the ship for them to get away. It's just like he was the one person that was able to save the day. No one else could figure it out.
See, tropes like that in these Star Trek, you know, it's like I summed it up to a T. Young boy got ripped from his mom. He goes on a run. Blah blah blah. He turns up and this and that and everything else. He becomes this, she becomes this like, oh, I gotta save him. I've been, for 15 years and everything else and stuff. I was like, oh my God, I could write this show in my head and everything else. And then it's like, so he could be, so now he's the troublemaker, and he's smart, and he's supposed to, be able to, be this, jackass and stuff and everything else. And it's like, this whole show is supposed to be about like, we supposed to see, all these so-called, cadets and stuff that, some of them are friendly, but some of them are so cheerful. It kind of makes me nauseating to see just how it's like, no, people aren't that, cheery, and everything else and stuff. I was like, come on now. Now let's, it trips me out to see the level of when they going through this whole thing in this whole Athena ship. It's gonna be Starfleet. It's the Starfleet headquarters ship, and I'm like, oh, really? They gonna really do this and stuff? Well, I like the whole little throwback too with the San Francisco song when they was defending, into San Francisco. I was like, that was a little, a little homage to the 1967 episode. What was that? Galileo 7. I mean, I remember. I was like, you know what that is? I remember that. That's actually pretty. That's a pretty little neat that they threw in stuff like that. But the whole wall thing about they just because I was watching Trek Culture with Sean Ferrick, and um I just was like, wow, there's a lot that I missed, but then there was a lot that I caught at the same time when I was watching Trek Culture with Sean Ferrick earlier, and he even point out some little things that I'll nitpick at and everything else and stuff because I I'm not gonna be too nitpicky, but I'm a very nitpicky person, especially with this series and this show stuff like that. Somebody being 47, 40, believe it or not, 47 is a number in Star Trek and everything else. I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna try to reserve a lot of my nitpicky and listen to everybody and stuff. But oh my goodness, uh, I'm old school Star Trek. I'm so old school Star Trek. I feel like I want to take myself out of this realm of what this new Trek is, and because it just make me want to vomit sometimes when I see them like this whole thing, and then the doctor, his aging program. He had a program that makes him age. I'm like, that's how they got around that little thing and stuff. I was like, okay, I could see that. Because you're not gonna look like you did almost 20 or 30 years ago and stuff, but I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Don't get me started about these hybrids, half
Yeah.
Klingon, half
Jim
Jim
Hadar.
Hadar. Like, what happened to the founders? Did the founders surrender to the Federation in the future? Do they not exist? Like, their whole thing was to bring their order to a chaotic universe, as if I'm not remembering stuff.
Well, you
And seeing most of this stuff and everything else, I'm like, this is if this is how Star Trek is going, count me out. Take me back to the old one, you know.
you remember those, I mean, we know the founders were there at least in the early 25th century because hello, season 3 Picard, they're still around. So whether or not what happened to them afterwards, after Vatic
Yeah.
was blown to or shattered to bits, is saying, say we
Oh,
had
what
that's the
you know
last
what,
we.
and that's the thing too. We seeing what this so-called what the future and stuff and everything else and all this, that's happening and stuff, and these young people who are running around. Oh, and this Caleb guy, I don't even know what to make it. I don't even know because they kind of center around the show around him in the sense because we know he's gonna look for his mother. He's looking for his mother and stuff like that. And to me, it's like I wonder if the truth comes out. The reason why she never saw him out after she left prison, she broke out of prison or whatever, is because she's probably the big bad. Even though we think that the half Tellarite was it the half Tellarian, the half Tellarian, half Klingon, which is another crazy mix.
Hi, Phil.
Hey Phil, it's crazy. I'm thinking she might be the big bad in the somewhere down the line and stuff and everything else, and she's the one who is the real person behind the scenes, not with what's his name, Lauren. So, what's his name? The half Tellarite, half Klingon, something. But it trips me it trips me out and everything else and stuff. I'm gonna try to give this show a shot and everything else, but I'm gonna be very nitpicky, especially with these 2 episodes and stuff that came out and everything else.
Yeah, but I mean they got a lot of names on that back wall, including some of the production staff like Alex
That's what I
Kurtzman,
saw. Some
Jonathan
production
Frakes,
staff.
Tawny Newsom's name's up there as well, who not only voiced Beckett Mariner in Star Trek Lower Deck, she actually wrote one of the episodes that's going to be airing later this season. Yeah, Jonathan Frakes, I've heard he's going to be the director for the penultimate episode of the season, so that one's going to be good. But so some of the names that we had on there, we have of course the McCoy and Scotty and Uhura and Chekhov and Pike and Rand and
Spock.
had Spock. We know that Hoshi made Lieutenant Commander. Saying Trips on there.
Harry S.
but-
Elkin.
Admiral Harry S.L. Kim. Oh my God.
It took him 1,000 years to get a promotion.
But yeah, Garrick was up there.
Who?
With Garrick.
I didn't notice Gareth.
Yeah, Elam Garrick is up on there. Captain Demora Sulu. Chapel's up there. Yar's up there. Samantha Wildman's up on there. Wesley is on there for sure. And it's Riley Shepard from that episode from DS9, the Valiant episode.
Yeah.
The episode Valiant. Duh.
Actually,
But,
he was
yeah,
in Paradise Lost. He was in Paradise Lost in Deep Space Nine. That's the first time we've
Shepard?
seen Riley Shepard.
I think I've seen that
Oh.
episode.
Yeah.
Paradise Lost.
Yeah, but
Paradise Lost.
he was later on Valiant as well, where he was
He
killed.
he came back to replay the same character. The same actor came back to play the same character. He was twice, but he was killed on a Valiant. That was the. That didn't make no sense to. He was killed on a Valiant.
Yeah, but that's just some of the names on the wall.
I'm really hoping that we see Seven's name up there at some point. And
You know,
did we see Janeway's name?
Yes. Yeah, she's up there too. Let me look at the list here. There's Riker, Hoshi.
What's this a list of?
The names, that big ass wall of names in the main quad for the Academy. There's some
Oh,
other, yeah,
okay.
Mabanga's name's up there too. Pressure. Bashir never made it past lieutenant, which is kind of sad.
Bashir was hot, man. Just
I'm wondering
saying.
if we'll see Erica's name up there. I hope we do, because she's one of my favorite pilots.
Yeah, see, she knew how to fly a ship.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
feel like Star Trek suffers from like cameo porn sometimes. I think
Oh,
a lot of IPs. This isn't a Star Trek thing. This is a everything thing nowadays. But it's just you feel like the writers. They're like, we just have to find a way to get this guy and this girl and this guy in the show, and we'll figure it out with the writing, and let's just get him in there. And then it feels just like lazy to me. Like yeah, like. I'm not saying they think this or talk about this. I'm exaggerating, but they're like, yeah, the writing, it's okay if it's so-so, as long as we get the hologram doctor from Voyager. I mean, people love that guy. We throw him in this series as a winner. And yeah, we don't really have to worry about explaining how he's old. We'll just have some sort of line about how he aged himself. And I feel like that's in some cases like as simple as the thought process is. And especially with Star Trek fans who are, we're very cognizant of the lore and the canon, and maybe we should like let up on that stuff sometimes, but it's just like, hey, this is a fan base that they're going to want an answer to this. They know the blueprints of the freaking Enterprise. Like if you move a deck to the wrong area, like they're going to catch it, never mind like explaining why Q is suddenly in his 70s.
Right.
Now, I want to just respond to that. Everybody, yeah, there we go. So many people flipped a lid when Brent Spiner announced that he was going back as Data in Picard. Because everyone was just like, how can that be? Data is ageless and this, that, and the other. And yet everyone seemed to forget a fundamental fact that it was actually like stated in an episode of TNG. I can't remember the name of the episode, but it's one of my favorites. It's when Data meets his mother.
What?
And it is stated in that episode that Data actually does age. just very much slower than humans and differently. If you go back and watch that episode, you will hear that statement. Now, a lot of Star Trek fans, even really hardcore ones who know the blueprints of the Enterprise and know exactly how the transporters work and this, that, and t'other, they seem to forget that that line was ever spoken. And when they are reminded of it, they're just like, huh, I'll have to go back and watch that episode because I don't remember that. So it does make sense that
the episode is called Inheritance.
Inheritance. Thank you very much, my sweet.
It rings a bell.
But so, you know, when it comes to the Doctor, they wanted the best at Starfleet Academy. He was around, and he even stated he did it to make humans feel more comfortable. And in a sense, I get what he means. I really do. And I think that's actually quite respectful of him. And so, yeah, add the aging program. Yes, in a way, it is a bit of a cop-out. It is. I don't deny that. But you were right. Everybody loves the Doctor. Why not bring him back? And it does explain why he's aged. And in my opinion, he's one of the best people to teach the students in certain areas.
I mean, my
He
pushback on
made-
Data.
Phil joined us. Let's before anybody want him because Phil's here. I want to hear Phil because I know I can't stay too long, but I want to hear Phil real quick.
Yes.
Then Lou, I want to hear what you got to say.
You're muted,
Oh,
dude.
Muted, Phil.
Oh, there's you. You're muted.
You're still muted.
Hey, Phil, you're muted. Gosh.
I'm so dumb. There we go. I forgot I'm sitting here drawing on the tablet and I turned it down so it wouldn't make noise.
Welcome, sweetheart.
I ran into a bit of a moment when watching it, just because I came into it knowing kind of what it was going to be, and I thought, okay, so this is going to be sort of this kind of teen drama in space, but I thought, okay, I'll give it to it because maybe they're trying to branch out different ideas, and it is going to be in Starfleet. It's where it all starts. So I'm preparing myself for this kind of moment. And I thought, this is just one series. Let's see what it's going to do, as long as it kind of tells a good story, etc. But I don't know. I had this sort of personal existential crisis when watching it, because I think because I'm watching all these young people show up, starting a career, and it suddenly had flashbacks to when I went to college and planning to have this life. And as some of you know, I went to school for traditional animation, which is like hardly exists anymore. And I only worked a very short time in the industry, and I haven't been able to do anything with it since. And now all my schoolmates that I went to school with are all retiring, and I'm coming up close to complaining that. And I'm like, and now I'm watching this show about kids coming out with a fresh blank slate in front of them as future, and I feel like my life is closing. I'm like, I was not prepared for this. I don't know why this suddenly like hit me really hard when watching it, and I was like, I don't know if I can watch this now. So it's hard for me to kind of be objective about it, but I try to still give it a chance. I like some of the characters. It's definitely very kind of high techy. I enjoyed the villain in it. I like Paul Giamatti. I wish they'd kind of just not make him, haha, I'm evil. I kind of wanted a little more backstory on this guy, and I want to know more about why he is who he is and what he is. And I know we'll probably see.
We still got 8 episodes,
but yeah. So I kind of hope we see a little bit more. But it's weird that that's the character I started to kind of almost identify more. You have a problem when you're identifying with the villain, but no, yeah. So it's, I mean, I'll watch it. I'll keep watching it, but it's I don't know. I kind of got depressed after watching.
No, but so far, my favorite new character of all this, it's kind of a toss-up between Sam and Laura Thawk.
This is terrible. I don't.
Which ones are they?
No.
Well, Sam's the hologram with the hair.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, she's a hologram. Even though how old did they say she was? 4 months
Oh.
old.
Yeah,
months.
but she was programmed to be 17.
Do you know what was
Yeah.
driving me bonkers? Why the captain, what's her name, Holly Hunt? It was driving me nuts. Her voice sounded so familiar, and I thought it was somebody else at first. I'm like, why does she sound so familiar? Why ever I heard that voice? And she was the mother in The Incredibles, and that's why
Oh yeah.
that clicked.
Mm.
So
Yep. Yeah, but as weird as it sounds, she sounds a lot like one of my fitness therapists.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, but my therapist, I won't name her by name, but she's more of a brunette than a blonde. But
Who's the captain? The little woman with the blonde hair and the bare feet. I love her.
a Holly Hunt, it's a why am I blanking on? Pulling it up. It takes me a while to.
I think her
Holly
name is
Hunter,
Holly.
Nala Ake.
Nala.
Nala
Yeah.
Ake.
Yeah, I absolutely adore her. She is so sweet and so adorable. And, you know, I mean, as soon as I saw that she walked around in bare feet, I instantly loved her. But, and the talking that she gave to about walking around in bare feet to that grumpy dude, I absolutely loved that. But no, she is wonderful. I'm blanking on the actress's name.
Holly
but
Hunter.
Yeah.
Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter.
Yeah, and I think that they definitely made the right choice.
I agree.
She
Oh,
is
same
so
here.
laid back and casual. She is so laid back and casual, and yet, you know, she is professional at the same time, and she takes no shit. And I've really connected with her. I really have, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. And you know, she's kind of hot.
Yeah, she is.
But,
Giggity.
you know, I mean, not
You
exactly my
too. Get
type,
a
but you
room.
know, credit where credit's due. She
Oh,
is
I
a
bang
looker. But
Just being
you
honest.
know, like the relationship that she has with Caleb as well.
Oh yeah, because they like I said,
Is
they got a history because I mean she feels responsible for the situation that he's in, so she's using her influence as the commandant of the academy to try and make right for what she did wrong for
Yeah.
well,
ripping.
yeah, and just in that first episode, I mean, I ain't going to talk about episode 2 yet, but the pilot episode, it was so deep, and there is so much underlying trauma with so many of those cadets that hasn't even been revealed yet. And the trauma that has been revealed, we've only just scratched the surface of it. And I'm already loving the depth of it because I think it's been handled very well. Yeah, you've got your bits of drama in between, but yeah, I was very surprised at how deep it is and how deep it was right from the off.
See, if it were me, that if I was Caleb and I was as big and strong as like he was, and I was put in a position like that, and somebody else that did something like that to me, and they walked up and they was standing in the same room and the cuffs was off of me, I would have put my hands around their throat. I would have choked her out. To me, you know, something like that. I would have choked her out. You know,
And that's why we're
just to say,
friends.
you know, I mean, I will have choked. You standing there, you are huge. You could have wrapped your hand around her throat or grab, you know, and sling her around and stuff and everything else, and say how do you like it now and stuff and everything else. Because I'm like, you come here and then you offer him this, you know, this whole, oh yeah, we're gonna try to turn you around and stuff, and make you this way and all and everything else. It's like the dude been surviving on his own. Why did he need any of you? You know, especially you who took, you know, basically you took him from his mother and stuff, and you lied about it, you know, and then you're trying to, you know, sway your guilt. You're trying to, you know, ease your conscience and stuff and everything else. I don't.
I mean, that's
I would have
catching
written
you on a bad day.
Do you know what? Do you know what, Travis?
What?
If this was 5 or 6 years ago, I would completely agree with you on that. Because 5 or 6 years ago, I'd have felt the same. But I understand why he didn't. I understand why she stood there. And yeah, fair enough. She was, you know, she was trying to assuage her guilt, but she even admitted to him that'll never go away. And you know, it may not have been ideal circumstances, but she saved him from a hell of a lot more trauma than he's already been through. And like it was stated, he'd have had his fingers cut off one by one and then his hands, you know, and she saved him from that. And yeah, there is still a lot of tension between them, and to some degree there is still a lot of distrust, but he is in a way he's been the bigger person, well, literally and figuratively, but he is being the bigger person by going along with it and not lashing out at how he possibly wants to. And considering what he's been through, that is strength. He has got a lot of inner core strength in him for him not to wrap his hands around her throat. And I have a lot of respect for Caleb for that. He wants to find his mother. He knows that there is more of a chance with Starfleet than without. And he's already made really good progress. But he also wants to be a better person. He wants to do well. And yeah, to some degree, that could still be linked to trauma and that childhood thing of wanting to make his mother proud. And yeah, so I have a lot of respect for him for that.
You've been real quick. What's your take?
Who?
Who you calling that, T?
I was talking to Lou.
Oh, Lou, what up, man?
I have no intelligent thing to say on the particular dynamic. I mean,
Ditto.
Yeah, I'm sure some of you guys have better takes than me on this particular thing.
Well, the one thing I got to point out, and just absolutely love when the doctor was starting to scan everybody, saying that parasite that he scanned it in Mir's body. It's just like, and yeah, you're cured. See me in 3 days. Tell me if anything moves. It's like, oh, on second thought, don't tell me.
Yeah.
But the big thing is he asked for is a tricorder. He's like, tricorder. It's just like total shades of caretaker when he was first activated. They say, as old as he is, some things never change.
Yeah, and I like that they brought that into it, because, you know, again, a bit of nostalgia, and it's very in keeping with the Doctor's personality. And
I was saying, and just the way he was just like giving everyone hypos and everything. It just there's, even though he's more seasoned, he still has some of that baseline annoying programming from when he was first activated.
yes, but that never left him. Throughout his evolution, that has never left him. Yeah, and I love that. And this is what this, even just tiny little things like this is what I was on about earlier, where some things never change in Trek, regardless of what it is, and it's nice to keep that in. However, I would just like to give a shout out to the ship. because I love the Athena. I fell in love with it as soon as I saw it. I am so in love that it could be my favorite ship. I apologize to Voyager, but I love the ship. I think it is a masterpiece. I think it is a work of art. I refuse to call a ship a she, regardless of the name. But that ship is so much more than a ship. And
well, it's not just a ship; it's a comm badge. That's why
it
the comm
is.
badges are designed the way they are, because it's just like the Athena. So it's just like one more badge to add to your collection, Travis.
Yeah, and
No, I'm not adding. I'm not adding it. I am not adding it.
Oh, I want that comm badge. I really do, because that ship, the way that they've integrated it in, the way that they integrated that tiny little piece of Greek mythology into Trek, I adore. And yeah, to some degree, because of what's happened over the years in Trek, they do need to be more prepared for war, but still keep their core values and try to promote peace, have peace talks, negotiate, but be more prepared than ever because of their history, because of what they've been through. And I love it. But even though Athena is the goddess of war, she's also the goddess of wisdom. And I adore that as well, because Athena may have always been ready for battle, but she was also very wise, and that is one thing that Star Trek is about. Be prepared, but still carry that wisdom, and I love that they're carrying it in Starfleet Academy in such a broad way as well. So yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to the Athena.
I want to throw this out, regarding, because this is a new show, and fans have been calling for a spinoff of Star Trek season 3 Picard. If anybody remembers what we saw at the post, we saw not 2 post-credit scenes or in-credit scenes, but we saw, with that said, we got it's Starfleet Academy, as they, in the, about about 1,000 years in the future and stuff and everything. So how do I put this? With Skydance purchasing last year Paramount, and I know David Ellison is a fan of Star Trek and everything else. Do you guys think that we are going to see a new Star Trek series that fans have been calling for the how many years has it been? Since 3 years since Star Trek season 3. It's been 3 years and fans have been calling for it and wanting to see familiar faces that we came up with and stuff, in a sense of like, oh goodness, we could go back and we can actually, because they opened this door to like 7 and 9 as a captain. They got some new elements, new characters and stuff and everything. Geordie LaForge's daughter, he got 2 daughters and stuff. One of them is actually LeVar Burton's real daughter. But we got now what Dr. Crusher and Admiral Picard, Admiral Crusher and Admiral Picard has a son together, and he's now in Starfleet and stuff. And a lot of us fans, myself included and stuff, has been saying, why didn't they kind of go along and hear the fan and be like, what, we could do something with what was left off at the end of Star Trek season 3.
Absolutely.
Picard.
If I worked in the industry, yeah.
We getting this. We got Starfleet Academies, but let's go back and stuff and everything, because I think a lot
You
of
left it on a cliffhanger.
That's
how you get because you left it on a cliffhanger, and now it's 3 years later. That's how you get the fans back in, and that's how you get more fans back in. Because you, me, all of us, we're Star Trek fans, and when we're at work or whatever, hanging out with friends, we'll be like, "Dude, You got to check this out, man. Even if they've never seen Star Trek. Anyway, just my little rant. Sorry.
But I mean,
It's all
it
good.
really can go to show
Where is it?
that
Yeah.
you okay, Dave?
No, I'm just like we just hit 50 live viewers, so yay.
Oh,
Nice.
thank you, guys.
Cool. Word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like and subscribe so you can stay
Definitely.
up to date.
Right down there.
Absolutely. You can join us too and stuff. Well,
Yeah,
but,
we still got a couple of slots available, so if you want to jump in, stream
Hop
your
in.
link
I mean,
below.
Shout out. We all cool.
With this new series, we see that it's pulling in some new fans and stuff and everything else, but like go back to let's just like toy with it. Fans have been aching for it for at least 3 years and stuff. Starfleet Academy has been talked about. Even Sean Ferrick said on Trek Culture, he even said that they've been talking about this almost since the 90s, like a Starfleet Academy movie or TV show and stuff like that. And I do remember hearing stuff about in passing of Starfleet Academy and stuff and everything.
The late 90s?
But somewhere in the mid to late 90s and stuff and everything.
Like 97?
It's been talked about.
97, 98. That rings a bell, dude. Yeah.
It's been talked about. It was talked about during that time and everything and stuff like it never came to fruition. Right. It never came to. It was only discussed in passing among Paramount and stuff. But now we got a show and stuff and everything else. Granted, it's almost 30 years later, and we see what happened, and they moved it not just in the 24th century. They got it. What was it, Dave? The 31st century, 32nd century, 32nd century.
Yeah, so it's like 3173 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like the late 3100s.
Yeah. But in this, the visuals are really good. In a sense, there's still a lot more to digest about these past 2 episodes and stuff. It really. And they threw in, with the wall of memories or whatever they want to call it and stuff and everything. There's a lot more to, see. Like, oh my goodness, they got names on there on that wall and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hard for me to keep up with.
It is. With this, there's in a sense, these 2 particular episodes, in a sense, was like. Establishing, we are establishing who these characters are, before we actually get to see who they really are and stuff and everything. Like, what's that one? Genesis. Like I never seen her species before. And then you got what's that? Dameron. When he looks human, but he's not human. He's the first of his species and stuff and everything. It's like. Okay, they introducing a lot of in this, you could say, new species.
Yeah,
but they've been around. I guess they've been around and stuff.
Who is the chick with the Ariana Grande ponytail?
That's Genesis.
Okay, yeah, she's hot.
If you would like to join with us, everybody that's in the chat, you can. There is a couple slots available if you'd like to join. So that is what Technically Trek is all about. So, and evidently Chris is about to give the giggity.
Yeah. But yeah, we still got three open slots available. There are more. So if we get more than 8 participants plus Katie and myself, which we got Zoomy Katie again, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm just leaving it for now because it's not too bad. At least it hasn't zoomed in on the girls again.
You say that, and then it will. You just curse yourself.
Don't even do that. Don't even do that, Zach. You always jinx me.
Fine.
They actually, they not introduced, but they show was pretty interesting because I was just like, whoa. In the when the captain, when she was giving her speech and stuff, they show. I was like, oh wow, they really did show that, But it was a character. It was what's the species called? The
I didn't
Charon,
even
the
notice.
the Charons that we saw in the TOS episode. Let there be your last battlefield. The black face and white
Mm.
face.
Yes,
Yep.
I saw those. I was very pleasantly surprised with that.
Reminds
Yeah,
me of a
and
character from the Elder Scrolls. Anyway,
I was
sorry.
pretty surprised. I was pretty surprised to see that because I was like, I haven't seen one of them characters in Star Trek in forever. I mean, I remember in TOS, I was like, in the Let There Be Your Last Battlefield. It's the last. Wow. Okay.
Well, no, we did see them in Section 31 as well.
Shea Gorath.
Elder Scrolls.
Yeah. It took me a second. I was like, I know the name,
Yep.
but yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
He's actually in 2 of them. I want to say he's in Skyrim. It's either Skyrim or Oblivion, and he's also in Morrowind.
Yeah, that's a deep cut. So sorry. I just had to.
Same here. Anyway.
Oh no. It's technically Trek. Whatever you said, that's pretty deep.
The deep game,
Oh,
dude.
the things
You
that
gotta
we've
have a
spoken about
lot
on
of free
technical
fucking
Trek
time to
already.
play that.
You notice it too in this it kind of, it's crazy to know seeing like, okay, there's Ferengis and they're Klingons, and we know what they look like during the TOS, especially in the when they first when we see in Star Trek 3. But like the Klingons are so different in the future. Now I'm like, so how come humans in themselves haven't evolved? Because the Ferengis, if you see the Ferengis in this series or even in Discovery stuff like that, they have these weird
Ears.
lobes and stuff and
Yeah.
everything else. And then the Klingons, they don't look more rigid. They don't, their foreheads, the ridges on their heads doesn't look like what we expect a Klingon to look like. I'm like, did they go through some sort of evolutionary change versus like humans or Vulcans who still look the same they did 1,000 years ago? How come one species?
Unlike us.
It boggled my mind. I was like, what the Ferengi? Because the Ferengi used to have these like smooth ridges on their, like the smooth bump heads, but these Ferengis got these like dimples and stuff and everything. And I was just like,
Dimples.
come on. And
Yeah.
then,
Budget cuts.
huh?
I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe budget cuts. I don't know. Budget
Well,
cuts.
I've got a theory
Because of all the
of
production.
why they've got such really weirdly large ears in this series. I think that the Ferengi have started getting plastic surgery on their lobes so that they're more attractive, because the bigger the lobes, supposedly the better the Ferengi.
Oh my God!
That is a very plausible explanation. I like that.
Yeah,
Yes,
lobe
I love it.
enhancements.
But no,
I
I'm
love it.
sorry.
Mm.
Sorry,
But no,
to step-
as for the Klingons, we always have to remember with the Klingons, and I always bring this up when the exterior of a Klingon is brought up. Don't forget they went through a hell of a lot of genetic manipulation, and that has got to cause a ricochet effect throughout the
genome,
like the the genome, but also like the revolution as well. So
the 1960s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they went from like all like lumpy bumpy Klingons to extreme Botox, and then the Botox eventually wore off basically, but this was done at a genetic level, and that has to have an impact on their natural evolution, and that is how I see it anyway. And that's
on a genetic level, it would never wear off
in my mind. So with a lot of genetic manipulation, a lot can happen in 1,000 years of evolution, maybe even quicker. As for the Ferengi, they've always been weird. But humans, In all honesty, humans are very slow to evolve. If anything, humans are devolving. But that's a topic for another time.
I had two things. I've been harsh on the series, but one thing I respect about what they're doing is I appreciate that they're moving forward in time, because just like I said, cameos I feel like is sort of lazy story writing, or it covers up bad story writing. I think there's nothing lazier nowadays than a prequel. I think that writers get together and they're like, oh, this is
100%.
great. We don't have to really be original. We'll
with
just
that.
use all the same characters, and it's 30 years before, and we'll figure out the rest. And, you know, one thing I really liked when like Voyager came out was like, even though you only got glimpses of it, but you did learn like, oh, well, what is happening in the Alpha Quadrant, like during and after the Dominion War. And like, you got those glimpses of like the wider universe was getting updated. And I was always disappointed that after DS9, we really never really learned what happened afterwards, at least on screen. It was all the expanded universe stuff. So like, I do appreciate that they, you know, they leapt forward like quite a long time, but I like that they shook up the status quo and they said, oh, there's a cataclysmic event and it's and you know, I was like, oh, okay, that's a big swing that they took. Like they switched it up, like the circumstances are different. That's cool. Like I'm in with that. And one thing I did I hope that they do, and I think Phil maybe mentioned this, is Paul Giamatti's character. I don't like that he's just a straight up bad guy. And I do hope that they give him more depth, because one thing I love about Star Trek is the nuanced villains in the show. And, you know, by the end of the episode, you find out that there's some sort of circumstance. You're like, oh, I kind of get why he wants to kill everyone on the planet. Like, and that's, I remember being a young child and realizing through Star Trek and the magic of their storytelling, like there's no real true villains in the world. Like everyone has some sort of motivation for what they're doing. And I hope that they're going to bait and switch Paul and did flashback where, you know, his whole family died or whatever. And you're like, oh, he's actually, I totally get it now.
And you know what you said too, Lou, is like, because when he was Caleb's mother said that his the character's name is Nas Braca. I believe it's Nas Braca. And he helped them get food when they needed food. But he didn't tell them how he went about it. But he cared. It seemed like he cared for them to give them food without any kind of compensation. Like you made a really good point about that too. It's like, you know, why did he did what he did? Why did he did to them when he know that they didn't have no money or anything of value and stuff and everything? Why did he help them in a time where they were, you know, didn't have anything and stuff and everything? What was his motive? What was he looking for these two individuals and stuff and everything else? And that's something that, you know, I'm glad you pointed out that I want to see too. It's like he has a reason. And I said, and I said earlier too, like Caleb's mother, when they was in prison together, of course he said they broke out of prison. I'm just going on wrong stuff like that, but I think she's probably the one that's going to be not the big bad, but the main antagonist behind the scenes. He is the one we see up front, but you know, he is most likely working with somebody who is, you know, probably the mastermind and stuff, and it's most likely his mother and stuff. That's just my take on it, you know, and everything. That's what it's gonna probably what's down and stuff and everything.
Yeah, I had similar thoughts from the off. I don't know if that's going to be the case though. I think they could be possibly. Oh, for goodness sake, squirrel zoom and back Katie all at once. Now I'll change it. But I think they could just be setting it up to be like that. So, like, kind of like a red herring. Because I thought from the off that maybe she had something nefarious going on. that hasn't been mentioned, and along the lines of what Travis said. But maybe they could just be setting it up like that to make us all think along those lines. But really, she's not.
Can I throw something in just to add something to that on,
Oh,
on a
yes.
larger
Sure,
larger
go
scale?
ahead,
You know, one of the best things they ever did when they started TNG is they took the Klingons that were just the evil empire in the original series, and when they started TNG, they fleshed them out so much into these big that you said they were no longer this evil thing. You knew they were like hard ass and badasses, but they turned them around into something like they gave them a whole world and history and planet, and they were no longer the bad guy. They even did that, I think, a little bit with other like the Ferengi and that kind of thing too. They gave them so much life that they became so much more. Because even up through the original TOS movies, the Klingons were just evil, just flat out evil with no kind of reason why or whatever. But boy, once TNG started, they became all this new something else, and it was
You know what? On this same line too, Phil, the Ferengi in Deep Space Nine.
Yes,
They gave the Ferengi more history and lore. Just like the Klingons, we seen the evolution of the Klingons in TNG and stuff and everything else. We got much more, they was able to tell much more, in depth and stuff and everything else. That's why we got 7 years of Deep Space Nine. And was it about 23, 24 episodes?
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. It's also why even like a one-off villain, say like, well, two-off technically, Khan became, that's why that movie was so popular, why everybody loved that guy, Ricardo Montalban is that villain, was because they gave him that whole, he had a reason for being who he was, and you sort of identified it. He wasn't a good person, but you knew where he was at in his head and why he was doing what he was doing, and that's what made that character so
and that's
powerful.
what we see. That's character, like you guys pointed out about Nas Bronca. There's going to be we're going to most likely they're going to tell a backstory somewhere.
I hope so.
About him.
Not only,
like, he's so good.
Yeah. But at the end of the end of his arc for that episode is him being jettisoned out of the airlock. He's just screaming no. So why? What was going on in his head? Why was he there? Because his plan was thwarted, or no, screaming no because there was something that he had to say and he didn't get the opportunity to do so.
And his ship was blown to smithereens.
That too.
I mean, it's funny in 90s, there's really no evil races aside from maybe some one-offs. But Star Trek did a masterful job of like the Cardassians, like, you realize they had this long war with the Federation, and they were sort of threatened from all sides. Like, I could kind of see how they needed to militarize, and even the Borg, like the ultimate, enemy that you should have no sympathy for. And then, Hugh comes along, and even Picard is like, well, they're really just following their programming. We probably shouldn't be killing all of them. Like, Star Trek is so great at villain. I think Gowron is one of the best examples of like a highly nuanced character that almost every episode he alternates from villain to like possible ally within the span of that 45 minutes. And then ultimately I think he gets killed in the end. And at the very end, he becomes kind of a villain, but like, he's a great example of like really good writing in that he's not bad. He's just selfish. He's just out for himself. And he can help you when it serves him, and when he doesn't. And I think they did a great job of like, what is it, like it's like the Scorpion analogy from Voyager. Like, he's, it's just his nature to betray and double cross. But like, as long as you accept that, like you can use that.
When Captain Janeway was in that particular episode, in the first episode of Scorpion, Captain Janeway was reading, Captain's logs, and she came up, she was reading Picard's log, and she was reading the Captain of the Endeavor, Amasoff's log, and Amasoff kind of, she was quoting him, said, "The Borg are as close to pure evil as any race that they had ever encountered." Now what you said too, they only following a program. It's like, how do you define evil versus, like they're not artificial life form, but they're uh they're cyborgs and stuff and
Robot
everything.
zombies.
They are flesh and blood, but they have technology, but they lost the will to comprehend what they're doing and stuff in the species and stuff. And then it too, like, back to this particular episode, like, this Nas Brocca, you mentioned too, Lou, that these characters especially about Galron, and you look at this and you be like, oh yeah, you could see this guy. He could seem like he could be almost a friend, but then he could turn around and you could just be like, you just want to hate him. You just want to be like, what are you doing? You just like, come
He's
on now, exactly. He's a friend of me. It's like, what are your ultimate intentions? What was it? How 7 and 9 used to say, state your intentions.
Well, I'm really, really sorry about this, but I really gotta go soon.
Yeah, me too.
I know we haven't got into the cinema yet, but I have an electrician coming in morning, and then straight after that, I've got a lunch date with a friend, and I need to be up in like round about 4 hours, and I don't know. I can't remember when I last slept. It's been days.
Get you some sleep. Get you some sleep, Katie Cakes. You take care of you.
But before
This
you
podcast will be
I
around.
concur with it.
It's
I
not
concur
going
with
anywhere.
that.
Yeah, say we've got close to 60 live viewers, so maybe it'll kind of creep up there a little bit. But
Cool. Fuck yeah.
yes, I mean,
That's what I'm talking.
I think that gets close to a record, if not a record. But
Hey, you're any of them hot chicks? Hey, if you're a hot chick, go ahead and quiet down here.
People just want to take a little break, man. They want a little timeline cleanse with some Star Trek.
There you go. But I think one of the biggest treats of this episode and for the entire season, Stephen Colbert, the digital dean.
Yeah, that was a nice nod.
Did you not realize that was Colbert, Travis?
I remember when I was watching Sean Ferrick and he was mentioning, and I was like, you know what? And when I watched Trek Culture, and I was like, that's right. Stephen Colbert was the
Digital
computer.
dean. Yeah.
I was like, whoa, I did not know that.
Colbert,
I had no idea.
He's a late night talk show host on CBS here in the States. He used to do the Colbert Report on The Daily Show years ago before he became. It's an American thing, Katie, but I mean he's a really good guy. He hates Trump. His animosity towards Trump got his ass fired.
I do recognize the name, and I do know some American talk shows and things like that. But we don't get that across.
I haven't watched Colbert in a long time. Colbert was my favorite as far as the 3 late night hosts go, but I haven't watched any of that shit in years because as long as it's warm enough, look where I am.
Sorry.
No, but having him, I mean, he's part of the Star Trek family now, which I think is awesome.
What voice did he do?
He's the Academy computer, the digital dean of students is what he's referred to as.
If you can hear in the background where
it just like so needs to go here, so needs to go there. Have a good day, cadets.
Starfleet Academy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and watch the first episode again, and then watch the second episode for the first time. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I did not
but
know
then,
that.
but then he's on the opening credits from the second episode onwards. So he's actually got a credited role in the series.
Let's talk about this. The Golden Gate Bridge still holds up almost 1,000 years in the future. It's like they built that
Well,
base to hold it.
it got rebuilt because of the Dominion War.
Remember, it's not the original one because it got destroyed. Well, it got blown up, but yet still, there still were parts of it still holding together and stuff and everything else. But it's just like, okay, they really made it look really cool and stuff and everything else. But
Is this
Eddie
in
says
the
she's got to
main
go.
timeline? Like, did
Huh?
the Dominion War happen in this timeline in the series?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Laura Thoth, the Klingon Jimitar hybrid. So that definitely kind of says right there.
Okay, right.
Yeah. See,
She said she said this. What's that said? She said, I'm losing my life and I reclaim it in battle. One of the Jim Hadar things, something about you lose your life, and then you go back and you go in battle to reclaim your name or your whatever it is, and then said that as we know Klingons, a good day today is a good day to die, and stuff like that. It was like she threw out like those two little montage of like the Jem'Hadar had a motto, and then the Klingons they have their motto about today is a good day to die and stuff and everything. Just because I guess her father was Jem'Hadar, her mother was Klingon, a female Klingon.
Aren't the Jem'Hadar like fractured though?
That's what I thought too. I was like, aren't they genetically engineered and bred to serve the founders because of
the war, I believe.
So there's questions about her background because I mean I didn't see a white tube on her chest, so they were able to get themselves off the white.
About like the Jem'Hadar, like were they was genetically engineered, but when did they stop serving the Dominion? Like when did they become a separate separate species?
There's 800 years gap that still needs to be
filled
in.
That's true. Yeah.
And
Katie, it looks like she's about ready to lay down.
Yeah.
I really need to go, my darlings, and I am so sorry to have to cut and run. But it was lovely to meet you, Lou. Come back next week, please. And I will see you all next week, if not sooner.
All right, my dear.
Much love.
Get some sleep.
Take care, Katie.
Yeah, that's a really interesting plot. Maybe they'll explore it, but like a broader question of like if your entire race was manufactured to serve overlords, and then suddenly you're all free as a result of a peace treaty abruptly, like that's really interesting to me. Like what happens to your society? Like do you start breeding on your own? Do you keep manufacturing? That'd be really cool for them to explore.
And you know what? There's never been a female Jem'Hadar, because I remember Dax asked that question. She said, "So y'all don't eat, y'all don't sleep, y'all don't have sex," and you like
see that kind of leads into one of my other queries. Just like, do they produce sperm even though they don't have sex?
Maybe, possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that we saw. Well, okay, we gotta have it because the Klingons Nas Braka is half Talarian, I believe it's Talarian, and half Klingon. What's her Laura Thoth? Laura Thoth. She's half Klingon and half Jem'Hadar. I'm like, the Klingons speak, and then they have a Klingon cadet, and you've seen this Klingon cadet, who's actually he's actually wanting to be a scientist. He doesn't have that Klingon way about him and stuff and everything else, even though he was challenged. Another Klingon would have challenged him and would have like say, "Oh yeah, you know what? I accept your challenge and stuff and everything else," but we saw Caleb stepped in and they was acting like jackasses and stuff. But it was pretty interesting to see that there's two different species with Klingon DNA, with Klingon not DNA, but Klingon, Klingon hybrid in a sense, you could say.
Like B'Elanna.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, dude, she was hot, man. God damn.
The second time you said
I'm
that.
just being honest.
Giggity.
That
Giggity.
is
All right, I bang it.
But
that
before we
is
go,
Chris
because
for
I
us.
know I know before we go, because we didn't get too much talk about the second episode with the Betazoids. With with seeing Beta Z and Betas and the Betazoids and stuff and everything, I thought it was a pretty interesting when they said that the young people were pushing for their leader or leaders to rejoin the Federation and stuff and everything else. It was like, wow, the young people on that planet had some sway with the with the leaders and stuff and everything else, and it was like, this is very interesting. And then we heard how they have they protected themselves with a psionic barrier that can keep out anybody and stuff, and it was pretty interesting to see that the Betazoids, what was that thing that they used to they had, it was like they're telepathic, but they was using something.
That was Marina Sirtis on Next Generation. She was a Betazoid. They were empathic.
No,
Sorry.
he's talking about the little voice box thing that he was wearing, because I mean the actor that played that character is actually deaf in real life. So when he was doing sign language,
Makes
yeah,
sense.
he was like really just like I'm blanking on the character's name from the
I don't remember
Loud
that.
as a Whisper.
What series was
What did you
that?
say, Dave?
Next Generation, the episode Loud as a Whisper. They say
Hmm.
I
Reva.
blanking on
His name was Reva.
Yeah, say that actor was mute in real life as well. So it's not the first time that Star Trek has done anything like that.
With
So he had like a
signing.
voice box type thing. What, like
well,
Stephen
say it was the
Hawking?
first time they used the voice box thing, but it's interesting that he still, even the voice box projected to another person to articulate what he's saying.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty.
Okay.
That's pretty.
Is
That's pretty neat.
Is this just in the series, or is this in real life?
Oh, say the actor is real life deaf.
Well, yeah. Did he have to wear the little voice box thing in order to be able to communicate with everybody, or was it just a on screen thing?
It's an on screen thing, so it's a
Okay.
futuristic.
Okay, that's where I was confused. Okay. I want to say that Stephen Hawking actually appeared on Big Bang.
He did.
Yeah. Yeah.
A couple of times, I think, actually.
Yeah. Ever since our house burned, I just hang out with my dad, and we watch Big Bang every night. And I've never watched it before, but now I love it, and I'm just gonna have to binge it from all the way through. I mean, I know the whole. I mean, I've seen probably every episode.
Love having you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Yeah. What up?
Yeah, and you made the comment saying I'm pretty confident I'm on the spectrum as well. Say I'm still remembering to figure out which doctor I need to call to figure out where the heck my results are at for that.
Nonsense, David. Nonsense. You're psychotic.
I've got a little bit of that too.
Maybe a little neurotic too.
Yeah. Look, I'm a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Aren't we all?
It's one thing too to see in what's going to be like moving forward in this new Star Trek series, and we don't know how long it's going to go for too and stuff and everything. But they are, as Lou said too. I like it going forward. Like when they bought Discovery around, I was hoping that Discovery was going to be something forward, like something past what we see in Star Trek. But they did a prequel because I'm like, you know what? When Enterprise came out, I was like, I kind of ran my teeth a little bit. Like, what are they doing? They going backwards? They're gonna go before Kirk? How's this gonna happen and stuff? I gave it a chance. I was like, yeah, I like the series for the most part. It's not my favorite series, Enterprise, but it was enjoyable to watch because they actually told us some things of like how did the Klingons became what we see them through TNG era and then late in the Star Trek movies. And then we heard Worf mention in Trials and Tribulation, Deep Space Nine.
We don't talk about it with outsiders.
But yet they kind of cleared that up, like what happened, and then they were like, oh, so this is how the TOS Klingons came to be that we see and stuff and everything. They did a little, they did some interesting stuff with with Enterprise stuff. But I was hoping that like Discovery and stuff would take place more so like in the future and stuff and everything. But I'm sorry.
No, I'm talking to my cat. Go on, Travis.
I was just saying that, with the prequel and stuff, it kind of like started doing this thing where it's like, oh wow, and we got 2 seasons of Voyage or Discovery in the 23rd century, and then they jumped all the way to the future. And then it started moving like in a different direction and stuff.
The thing I think
you have a fan
with Enterprise.
Oh, well, thank you.
Was that what frustrated me when Enterprise came out was that I think what I wanted and what a lot of people wanted was when DS9 ended, there was this huge, like, wide new world of Star Trek where like this massive war had just ended and all these alliances had shifted. And it was kind of like the chessboard had been upended. And there were so many interesting questions that I wanted to know in the next series. Like the Romulans were like kind of sort of allies now of the Federation. Like what's going to happen with that? They've been building towards that for like a long time, ever since the TNG days. What would happen with the Beta Quadrant and then we got Enterprise. We didn't get any of those answers. And then that entire essentially franchise failed and was rebooted and we never got the answers. And we probably never will now. But I think I always think about like, man, what would a new series set after the Dominion War have been, and like all the interesting, awesome stories that it could have told. It's a tragedy, I think, really.
You're absolutely right. There could, they could have, because the last thing we seen that resulted in Star Trek was Voyager ended in 2001, and then that's the same year in the late summer going into the fall, Enterprise came along, and that only did 4 seasons. And in that time frame, the last thing we seen in a sense of something moving forward was Star Trek Nemesis, because we seen Voyager's already returned home. Janeway's she's a vice admiral. She's a vice admiral, and we've seen little bits and pieces and stuff. But then in Star Trek Picard, when they started Star Trek Picard and everything, we got a little bit of backstories of like what's been like for the last 20 years, and it's like, wow, they didn't really. And Paramount was some said at that time too, Lou, that Paramount was losing Star Trek fans. Paramount was coming to like this decision where like we're gonna take a break from the Star Trek series for a bit because Enterprise was not hooked in anybody. It took really fans to actually get season 4 for them to like say, okay, we're gonna give you guys one more season and see how it goes and stuff. If it doesn't look, the network is gonna pull the plug on, there's not gonna be a season 5 or anything. And we saw this thing where Enterprise started and went from, and a lot of fans wasn't hooked on it and stuff. And fans was just it was kind of, somebody said, I remember hearing somebody say Star Trek was a dying franchise that should die and stuff and everything else. But yet and like you said too, I have heard other people say they have more opportunities to, open up for Voyager Home, Voyager Back in the Alpha Quadrant, Deep Space Nine. There could be more so of storytelling of the post Dominion War, how things could have been, how things was shaped up to be and stuff and everything else. In Star Trek Picard season 1, Picard left the Enterprise E because the Romulans was going to experience a supernova. Oh wow, Katie's not here to see the cat. She will love that cat. She will.
Mine wouldn't come on camera.
He's a boy cat.
What's
I have to check and see if mine are outside.
What is your cat's name, Lou?
Calvin.
Hey, Calvin.
Come on.
Hey, Calvin.
I've never. But speaking of male, I've never seen an orange cat that wasn't a male.
I'm gonna say, is that Spot?
They're great though.
Yeah, he looks like Spot, huh?
So he's from the other timeline?
Yes.
Fun fact: apparently, 7 out of 10 orange tabbies are boys. They're very.
I think I've heard something about like that. Yeah, they're predominantly male.
They are. But they're always sweet. At least I've never seen a non-sweet orange cat.
Yeah, they're all great except for Spot.
No,
Socks wants to. You want to go down? Go on.
He was
He
a
was
rascal
waiting at
too.
Spot.
Apparently, he impregnated other cats on the Enterprise, which
Right. That's
I
right.
always
He got
imagine
who?
like some random crew
Yep.
member, and it's like 0200, and he's heading back from work, and just some cat sprints down the corridor, and he's like, "Is there cats on the ship somehow?"
This
Hey,
one is
apparently
real.
let's not.
The door sensors are supposed to be for humanoids, not four-legged animals and stuff and everything else. So how he got out is a mystery that Data was trying to solve and everything. How he went and impregnate other, it's like, well, did he get up? How he get to, the upper or lower decks, whatever the, or were they on the same decks and stuff and everything. I thought that was just the funniest thing.
Let's not forget that just all in the 7th season, Spot had a gender change.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And that he basically inadvertently led to the deaths of they don't really specify, but several crew members during the incident where everyone like de-evolved, and that was like directly related to Spot getting pregnant. So I'm surprised that they didn't like go to Data and are like, we got to get rid of the cat. He's literally causing people to die.
Yeah, that was was that Genesis? That was
Yeah.
the episode Genesis. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Thank you for introducing us to Spot, or not Spot, but Calvin. Calvin. I almost said
Crossing universes here would have been hilarious if he had been a Flurkin.
Flirkin. Oh no, Flirkin.
Hey, I gotta go, guys. It's almost 10 o'clock here, and I got to go
All
to
right.
bed.
Lou, it's a pleasure meeting you.
Well done.
Definitely check out the rest of the chat. You're probably going to talk for about at least another 20-30 minutes. But thanks for coming in. Hopefully, we'll see you again next week.
Lou,
Please
Phil
come
and
back.
Zach, they have channels of themselves. If you're ever curious to check out their channels or something like that, they have channels too as well. You tell stuff like that, how people come and check, because we encourage people like yourself to interact with us. Like Dave said earlier, if you're camera shy, you can turn off your camera. You can, we can hear your voice and stuff. And we got people in the live chat, like Andrew and Dylan. It's nice to see people,
Yes.
interacting with us live and stuff. Because you could disagree with us, and we want to hear your disagreement. Why do you think this way and stuff and everything else? We could keep it all amicable and stuff and everything else, because me and Katie, we disagree. We disagree, but we love each other and stuff and everything else. We go back because she hates TOS, but I'm a fan of I'm a nostalgic fan of TOS and stuff and
too.
everything. But
Yep.
yeah, come back and see us because we're gonna talk more after this. We finish talking Starfleet Academy. We usually talk more like different things of Star Trek and everything else, and we bring up episodes and stuff and everything else. And sometime we will have a guest on. I'm not sure if you know who he is, but he appeared in the last 2 seasons of Star Trek Voyager. His name was Mono Interrami.
We know a star.
And he played Egypt. He played Egypt. He played Egypt, and Dave's most likely going to ask him to come back and talk to us about, one of the episodes that he was in, and give us, the ins and outs of the, behind the scenes that went on and stuff and everything else. But sometimes we have a guest on. Just recently we had a guest on that Zach provided and stuff and everything. So, come back, have people to come back and see us and all and everything else. And we enjoy everybody, who interact with us and stuff.
We'll plug that one actually. Go check out last week's. It's on post labor economics, and it's tying into the post. I'm drawing a blank. Oh, post scarcity society to start.
Mono wasn't actually. He wasn't only on Voyager. He also played Billy on One Tree Hill. If you ever watched that, I
forgot about that. We don't talk about that, Chris.
Been some movies.
I'm lying.
Yes, Lou, but thank you for stopping in. This your first time and everything else. Thank you for coming and stuff and everything. I know you got.
Thank you.
I gotta get home and stuff.
Yeah, Lou, you're all right, man.
Yeah. You guys were all super sweet, and I literally had no idea. I just saw it on my feed, and I just clicked buttons. I was like, I'll just see what happens, and it was.
Well, you just hit the lottery, dude.
Welcome to the family.
Come on back, Lou. So you're always welcome.
Definitely.
The rule of acquisition. Oh, he's gone.
Yeah,
where'd he go?
I was gonna say the rule of acquisition.
You gotta go.
He'll be back.
He had to go.
Always
Man.
come back.
Oh yeah,
they do always come back.
Yep.
But I do have to go too myself because it's after 11 and everything else.
10 more minutes.
It is. It's after.
Remember you said you had to go.
Hey, watch that weather tonight, T. It's gonna get back.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like
it's supposed to be warmer,
minutes, man.
It's supposed to be warmer tomorrow.
Oh no, it's not. Andrew, Dylan, I appreciate you guys in chat. I really I appreciate. I hope you guys come back. I know Dylan will. Andrew, come back and see us and stuff and everything else. I do have to go.
Ring that bell.
I gotta go to the restroom, but I have to actually go grab something to eat before I lay down and stuff. But before I go, I like to throw out this real quick. The rule of acquisition number 190th, the 190th rule of acquisition, I should say. Hear all, trust nothing.
Hear all, trust nothing. Don't snitch, everybody.
But Chris said we'll be keep on talking about this stuff for a while. So,
hey, no.
I appreciate you guys. Take care. Peace and long life.
Take care, Travis. See you again.
Take care, Travis.
Get some rest, Travis. Get some rest, brother.
You guys too.
No, we're not going back here. No.
Yeah, but I mean, there's just like a couple of things I wanted to bring up from the second episode. Probably probably one of the biggest Easter eggs in all of Star Trek is, of course, when Thok made that poor little cadet run away crying. She ran by the Boothby Memorial Garden sign. Just as like 800 years after Boothby passed away, he's got a garden named after him.
That was also in the commercial for it too. I noticed, and I was like,
yeah, or the teaser.
I had to look it up.
Yeah,
it was driving me nuts. I was like, oh yeah, of course.
How could it? You didn't pick up on it at first, or?
Yeah. Whoops. I saw the name. I saw it in the ad, and I saw the name, and it was just like Boothby. Where does that? It was driving me nuts. I knew.
Oh, dude.
And then I kind of had to Google it really quick.
You should have just texted me. I could have told you.
Oh well, I was in front. Google was faster in that moment, but
that works too. but yeah, say with that scene, she's fast turning into my favorite character in this new show.
Who was it?
Laura Thok, the Klingon Jem'Hadar officer.
Is she
Mm.
not, Chris?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I can
As
just
long
say-
as she's hot,
see,
then hey, I'm down.
that's
Oh
that's
no,
her.
no giggity, no giggity, false alarm. Oh, come on, go ahead, man. Oh, never mind.
But
I'm not even gonna go there.
but then there's like the James T. Kirk Pavilion. There's humpback whales. Yay. Say there's just like
Picked up on that
these
reference right away.
these first 2 episodes are just chock full of Easter eggs and nostalgia. It's like almost hitting too hard. Excuse me. But yeah, you say Caleb, he's say the doctor singing with the diva. The diva being one of the aliens from the Kelvinverse. One of the Kelvinverse aliens are in the Prime universe now with those. I can't even really describe the get up with the big Leia head. I guess you can call it. It looks like just big old cinnamon buns on the sides of her head.
I don't even know what the Kelvin verse is.
No, it's the episodes with Chris Pine, the movies with Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto, and
Oh, okay. Now I'm with you.
yeah, that's the Kelvin timeline.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they just named it the Kelvin timeline because the USS Kelvin's the one ship that unfortunately encountered Nero's Marauder or whatever you want to call his mining ship. Oh, sorry. It might be getting time for me to call it a day. But
You suck.
but yeah, what are some of your thoughts on the second episode? And hey, we hit 60. Woo!
Damn. All right. Hell yeah.
Head on over to whatever Dave's channel is. It's down there. It's showing
Yeah.
there. Come
Dave
like,
Prime, Dave.
come subscribe. Go on, Dave.
Yeah, Dave Prime 1701. And you can find
Yeah,
you can
ring the
find me
bell.
on-
Go to that thing down there and click on it, and you'll be happy.
Yeah, you can
Oh, that's
find
right.
me under Dave Prime 1701 on Instagram. You can find me there on Threads as well. Technically Trek under Spotify. Then on Twitter, Techno Dave with a K, TEKNODAVE, as you can see right there. But technically Trek on Twitter /X as well. But yeah, say the. Like I said, we were kind of bouncing around with it. Just the fact that Caleb's starting to fall for the daughter of the Beta Z leader. The fact that Beta Z left the Federation, that was a bit of a in the mind when Earth kind of retreated into itself. It just shows other planets did the same thing. You look deep in thought, Phil.
You're muted, Phil.
Yeah, sorry, I'm listening. I wanted to look something up super quick, but I am listening.
Okay,
I
cool.
just need
Yeah,
to find something really quick.
Phil, you don't come off to me as a video gamer, but have you ever played No Man's Sky?
No, I'm not a gamer at all, believe it or not.
Oh, I believe it 100%.
Yeah, not.
But No Man's Sky, there's over 15 quintillion planets.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, seriously, trust me, it's a randomly generated game. It's been out for about 10 years. Really good if you just want to hop in your ship and go planet to planet and meet different people and do different things, whatever. I play it on creative, so all of the animals on the planet, they're friendly, yeah, everything is free, blah blah blah. But yeah, I mean, it's a computer game. It's a PC game. Yeah.
I'm in front of
I don't want to play it.
a drawing tablet here. I spend a lot of my time. Like even while this, I've been sitting here drawing. So that's actually I just sent something to Dave. I don't know in Facebook Messenger. So
I haven't had a chance to look yet.
open it. Okay,
But
I can draw stick figures.
I do a class on that, and actually on for people who aren't consider themselves artists and how they can actually do a simple stick figure and how you can actually what you can actually do with it is I do a whole thing on that actually. So
awesome.
Which reminds me, I'll be going live again after this doing my my art stream as soon as I'm done here.
Will you be drawing paintings or just drawings or
I'm
will you be drawing the gay gore?
That'll be coming for the summer.
The gay Gorn, everybody.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I went to school for traditional animation ages ago, and I worked in animation for a short time. I haven't in a while. I do things like caricatures, and I'm a cartoonist, an illustrator, and a cartoonist. So that's kind of my thing. So yeah, I do. I have a YouTube channel that I haven't put the work into that I'd like to, and I'm really trying to start things up again with it and start kind of doing some classes and I need to start generating some a second income. So I'm doing a lot of stuff online right now. I just getting a store up together to start making merch out of some of my artwork, and I'll be having a website up pretty soon. So yeah, I've got a lot going on right now. I'm kind of juggling.
That's awesome, dude. So, that's I mean, do you have any examples that you can show me?
I don't want to get too side.
Stream is in the chat,
but I do if I can bring it up. I don't want to get too sidetracked though on what Dave was doing, but
do that. But the anime thing, that's awesome.
But yeah,
and you can go like and subscribe to
That's my channel, and my Instagram is by the same name. If you actually want to see if you're on Instagram and you want to see my work, Phil Chandler Arts, you'll see some of my stuff on there.
Okay, cool.
So yeah,
cool. I haven't been on Instagram in a couple of years. I should still have it.
Get this man paid, everybody. He's talented. He needs the money now. Get him paid. Come subscribe.
Andrew said my nickname Dave Prime. That's the nickname that I got from Manu. Because with his channel, there were several Daves on there. There was one in Toronto. There's another one in Vancouver. There's another one, I forget where, but I was the first Dave in the group. So I was Dave Prime, got named Dave Prime.
Yeah, that one in Toronto turned out to be a dick.
So it isn't because you're ripping off of Optimus Prime?
Or Amazon Prime.
Oh, I was really hoping that it was Transformers.
Yeah, but no, it's just that I'm the first Dave, so Dave Prime.
And that you are, my friend.
The first, the best, the elder.
And Chris is his Quagmire.
You got your rocking chair and a front porch yet?
Oh, well, this chair rocks.
There you go. There you go.
Say, don't have a. Yeah. See. Yeah, that just doesn't quite roll off the tongue as easily.
Hey, I'm happy to have a chair that swivels. Man, this is awesome. This is like a chair that came out of an old military base.
Yeah, see,
came out of a barber shop.
See, I got this
like that. I don't know.
See, I got this chair off of the.
That's all I know. It's solid steel, and there's no back. Well, just the rail, and then there's a half-inch cushion that I'm sitting on, and that's it.
That wasn't very creative in your third grade class there, Dylan. Dylan 1 and Dylan 2. We could have came up with better names than that. Dillmeister and the dildo. I don't know.
Oh, dude. Oh, okay. Okay. Now we're talking. You're talking some Don Bluth Dragon's Lair shit right there, man. That's
Amen, brother.
now you're speaking my language. Nice.
Nice.
I like the way that you wrote Star Trek. It's kind of
Well,
Kinda-
that's actually how one of the original fonts for when they advertised for Star Trek back in the 60s as well.
right.
Yep.
Right. Because
This is going on. This is going to be going on some merch. I'm going to see if I can get away with it. I'm going to try and put it on some shirts and mugs, that kind of thing. So
you should be able to get away with that.
So it's.
I wouldn't see why not.
No.
You're not profiting off of it per se.
That looks awesome, dude. That's
I did this one night actually this was during a live stream.
That's
we were
nice.
Yeah,
that is sick.
So,
oh my god! But you had me at the first one with the dragon. I'm a gamer. Dragon's Lair, man. Space Ace. I could beat Space Ace on one coin back in the day.
oh god, yeah.
Now you got to pull up the Gagorn.
Yeah, that'll be. Katie wants, there's a long story behind that, but I'm doing so. It's more for Katie now, but yeah, I'm hoping to have the gay Gorn ready before June, so I can put on some merch in time for Pride Month. But
Good.
yeah, I'm trying to figure what else I got here, but yeah, that's just a bit of a sampling of what. What's the Bugs Bunny?
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, Dylan and I had maybe a little similar. Let's say there's two Davids in my fourth grade class. There's me, and then there's David Adams. I want to say, we needed to find a way to differentiate between the two of us. So when the teacher called us, we know which David that she wanted to talk to. See, he hated the nickname Dave. I was totally okay with it. It's like, okay, I'll be Dave, you be David. So when she said David, talking to him, talking to Dave, talking to me. And the Dave just kind of stuck. But when I got in high school, writing for the school paper, I wanted to be professional and everything. So I went David A. Hildebrand when my full name with my name with my middle initial, and that kind of stuck.
What? That's
Whoa! Did you just?
Okay, that looks like the Grinch, but pissed.
Yeah,
a pissed off Grinch.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So
maybe Katie will watch
last time I saw him, but that's still good. That's really good.
Yeah,
it is.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I was in school, I grew up in a little village of 900 people. It's 600 people now because the military base went away. But anyway, we had two Beckys in my class, Becky O and Becky G, because that's what their last name started with. If I had
Probably Andrew.
Yeah, if I had stayed in Potomac, Illinois, my graduating class would have been 22 people, not 21. That was the entire high school. But, I moved to Tennessee, and my high school was 1,200 kids.
I'd like to say Paramount. I agree with Andrew here. Paramount's not going to sue you, Phil, for that. But honestly, they're going to take it a step further, and they're just going to listen into all your conversations because that's just what Oracle does.
I don't think Paramount would sue you. It's not like you're fucking with Nintendo. You fuck with Nintendo, you're going to get sued.
Yeah, there's a bit of an issue though when you put it on. When you put it on things like the merch. What do you call it? Like I'm with Printify, and that's where they kind of will look for anything that is copyrighted, and it'll be Printify that'll say, hey, you can't sell this. This is but people get away with it. People are putting stuff up that technically is right. Like you'll see like Mickey Mouse, and that's technically in public domain now, but you'll see like Bugs Bunny or something like that go up on there. So
isn't Bugs Bunny Pope? I think Bugs is now public domain now. Unless they change. Maybe not.
Shouldn't you be able to label it as not original?
You could, but they'd still use copyright.
Yeah. But
That's
I'm
why I'm
gonna
a
throw
big
it out.
proponent of.
I'm gonna put it on a couple of mugs or something and shirts, and I'll see what happens. So
All I know is don't fuck with
I would.
Nintendo because they'll sue your ass.
with who?
Nintendo.
Nintendo. Oh yeah, I heard Nintendo's bad for that.
Oh God, you don't. Yeah.
And believe it or not, Toho. I'm a big Godzilla fan, by the way. Toho was really hard ass on that too. You put Godzilla on
Careful
something,
with
and
the-
they'll be
Yeah.
down your throat so fast. Yeah, they do
No.
not like people using that image.
Gahira?
Yeah.
Gahira.
What you're doing?
So, but they, yeah, they can get downright nasty
Yeah.
about that.
You be good, and you be good. You be real good. Oh, God damn it!
This is the greatest entertainment you'll ever see, to everybody. Chris rounding up cats and disciplining them.
So sitting here wanting another can of food. You don't need any
Yeah.
food. Look how fucking
spoiled.
fat you are. Good God.
There's a stray living outside of our apartment. When anyone's outside, it's just meowing incessantly. Feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me. Someone feeds her, she's still meowing for it. She's like, feed me, feed me, feed me. It's like, you just ate, you dumb cat. But yeah, just remember, Chris, to turn off your camera if you're going to hit the vapes, because I don't want YouTube to put a strike against me for it.
I smoke all the time, Dave.
I know, but
they don't care.
you turn your camera off when you do that, though.
Oh, not on
Did
mine.
Did I hit it and not turn my camera off?
Yeah,
Probably because I was feeding the damn cats. Hang on, I usually just do this.
that works too.
You apparently can't live stream while driving either. If you're live streaming and driving, they catch that, they'll shut it down.
Yeah, well, good to know that that's not going to happen. Well, I'm one of these days I might do one of those videos just out of the car. I won't be moving or anything like that, but
No, you can do that.
Yeah, if it's not moving, it's fine.
Yeah, if it's not vivid, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
But I think with the vaping,
Tennessee.
I think with the vaping and the cigarette, it's not that they'll give you a strike. It's just you just won't be monetized if you get to that level on that video. Because
we're a long way from that. So
What are you going to need? Like what, 1,000 viewers or some shit?
That's 1,000 subscribers, something like that.
500. 500 you can start monetizing.
500 is the first tier, 1,000 is the second tier, but along with the 1,000, you have to have 4,000 watch hours. But with your live, with the number of lives you've got, you'd get that easily. If you can just reach that 1,000 subscribers, you'd be. But you get better deals with brand deals and things like that. You can get better. Like monetization is just like a little extra money, but it's when you get popular enough that you can
get some sponsorship endorsements,
sponsorship and that kind of thing. That's where you actually make money. And
people, we don't want no sponsors. We want you to donate to us voluntarily.
Or
there you go.
Going to Dubby. By going to Dubby.
Once it's privately owned, fuck you.
But yeah, w.gg
once
Tech
it's
Trek.
privately owned.
Yeah, w.gg code Tech Trek for any non-bundled products or specialized license offers. Get 10% off your order. And every now and then they'll give me a heads up saying, "Hey, we're doing this, we're doing that." And I say, "I didn't realize it until the last minute." Yeah, I say there
you go. Everybody watching, get your merch. I got a shitload of it. Trust me. Get it.
They say they were. I missed an opportunity to pass it to my viewers, but they were giving away 40% discounts for a couple of days. And when I
should have waited.
And remember, everybody, the straw is not for your nose. It's you drink the dubby. You drink the dubby. You don't snort it. All right. This isn't pixie stick. This isn't pixie sticks in the second grade. Come on, you children.
Right. God. Yes. Oh my God! Wow. Yeah,
Atlantis.
yeah,
Clip that.
Body mix.
yeah.
No, that's a new AI thing with StreamYard. You say clip that, it'll automatically like save the last minute or so, then that way we can use that to possibly get more subscribers.
Clip it, clip it, clip it.
With that, I'm gonna have to
Dave's
do
over
that.
there. Clip it.
God.
I'm gonna have
Is
to.
there any, well,
do
other
that
than,
here.
because I mean, like I said, probably the biggest things that with episode 2 are the Boothby Memorial Garden, Humpback Whales, the the Federation headquarters is going to be moved to Beta Z. Starfleet Academy is still going to be on Earth, but the
Right.
president's office is going to go to Beta Z. And say that took some doing and wrangling, and like Caleb kind of schmoozing the president's daughter to try and smooth things out. There was definitely a lot of going on between those two, but hopefully we'll see her again here later in the season.
I'm gonna have to
Both of
drop
them.
off myself because I got a few things to do, and I want to start a stream by it's gonna be midnight here in half an hour, so I want to kind of get things started for it. I'm a night owl. I'll be awake till 4 a.m.
Yeah, see,
So-
well, before you go, I think we're just gonna might as well just call it good for tonight. So, say next week we got more shenanigans. We got Vitus Reflux, where the War College is pranking the Starfleet students,
Oh.
and yeah, say this could go either way. Say so again. I'm cautiously optimistic that this is really going to start to take off and go. We'll just, I think I might have to withhold judgment until we at least get to close to halfway through the season.
So after
But
episode 4.
yeah, episode 4, episode 5, so like 2 more episodes. Let's say get a good feel on that, and say yeah, you're welcome, Andrew. And say appreciate you popping in tonight. Say appreciate all the new viewers that I had this evening, which it's been kind of like hovering like 55, 62. Oh, it went back up to 62 again. So it's like 65. Let's go. Up. But yeah, if you haven't, be sure to click like and subscribe down below at Dave Prime 1701. And that way you'll be up to date. This Wednesday at 6 o'clock, I think is working great for this channel. So we're gonna keep going at it, and then at least until next week, you are welcome, Andrew. May Spock be with you all.
Be sure to follow Dave over on X too if you're viewing on X. But come over to YouTube.
On YouTube, on Instagram, it's all there. Say all those links. If you go to the very beginning of the YouTube video, it'll have all the not the links per se, but what channels to go to find me on Instagram, Threads, and all that. So until next week, hailing frequencies are closed. See you next week.